Make sure that you're using a sponge. One side is softer than the other. You want to use that soft side towards the car so that you don't dig in too deep. You don't need to apply a lot of pressure. Just make sure that you keep it good and lubricated while you're going back and forth. It makes the job much easier. This is after 2000 grit sandpaper. You can see it's kind of dull across there. And as it gets shiny over here, this is where we haven't done yet at all. It looks better than it did before. Again, not showroom quality by any means, but getting there. Not getting to showroom quality, getting to good enough, that's the idea. Well, I'm not gonna make you sit there and watch me do the rest of this, but off camera, I'm gonna sand that side with 1500 grit, and then with 2000 grit. Then we're gonna let it good and dry, then we'll bust out the buffing compound, put a little bit of shine on it. Be gentle in the comments. This is my first time ever doing a Rustoleum paint job. Trying to make it look the best that I can. Got the entire hood sanded up to 2000 grit sandpaper. Now on to the compound. Rustoleum paint is a little bit softer than automotive paint. You add hardener to it. What I'm finding is that wet sanding this compared to an automotive finish, you're removing a lot more material with this. I'm guessing that it'll be a lot easier to burn through a Rustoleum paint job, so I'm going to be super careful, very light pressure on the buffer. We'll just do this as carefully as possible to get the best outcome. The key is to not be in a hurry. So I'm going to take my time, light pressure, make sure that I keep the pad wet and not stay in one place too long to create any heat. We'll see if we can make this thing shine just a little bit more. It's looking pretty good. You can still see some of that clear coat that was flaking from before. I'll show a before picture so you can see what I'm talking about, but I sanded those down as best I could. We used a filler primer. It still didn't quite bust all of the edges down to flat. It may not show in camera very good, but you can see all along here is some, and then up in here is a little bit more. And there's all these little pinholes from rock chips that chipped the clear coat as well. But we're going to make this thing look as good as we can, and eventually we're going to apply this same finish, same process to the entire car. We're using this as a test panel to make sure that I get my color right, and this color is not what I was going for, so I'm really glad I didn't spray that on my 79 Ford that's sitting out there. Anyway, link down below to the videos for the 79 Ford. I keep pointing over there because it sits right out there. That's Midnight Maroon. This was supposed to be a midnight maroon color. It was supposed to be this dark, and it's a lot closer to this. So back to the mixing board as far as mixing paint for the next project, but I already have this color mixed. It's sitting over here in the wings waiting for the remainder of this project to be completed. Let's get to buffing and see what we can make this look like. So I busted out the polisher. I've got the wool pad on it, and we're using Meguiar's Ultra Cut compound. It's the extra heavy cut, and then we'll go down to a fine glaze that'll give it more of a polish or a shine. Let's kind of get after this and make this sucker shine. you guys in here so you can see a little more up close what that looks like. That's the undone portion over here to the polished. It's going to get even a little more polished than this with the next phase. There is still some orange peel, but it's a lot more muted than it was. I was a little concerned about exactly how much orange peel we had on there, but this is starting to take shape. Let me get the rest of it cut in with the Ultra Cut compound. We'll take a look at the hood overall, and then we'll start on the next compound. Ultra polishing finish, that's what we're going with. So it's got an abrasion level of 4. That's what this little arrow on the side is. So a light cut is 0. It wouldn't do anything at all. Seems to be pretty good stuff. The McGuire's products have been good to me. You can buy these from Amazon. They ship right to you. They'll never run out. Check the links down below. I'll leave links down below to all of the stuff that I use for this project. At the end, we're going to take a look at all of the things that are wrong with a do-it-yourself for the very first time Rustoleum paint job in my garage. Because America. All right, the initial cut is done. Ready to move on to polishing. Pretty impressed with what this is looking like. There's still some orange peel going on, and we'll take a closer look at all of the defects once we get this part done and all cleaned up. This cutting process makes a huge mess. I've splattered stuff clear all over the car. So that's fun. We're gonna use the Ultra finishing polish with a cut level of 4 and finish this out. Okay guys, time to be brutally honest. This was way harder than I thought it was going to be. I've watched YouTube videos, I watched TV shows of them fixing cars and whatnot, and I was like, I can do this. This was hard. This has got to be one of the hardest automotive related things that I have ever done. It's super technical. There's mistakes you can make all along the way. I'm sure that I made several of those. From here, it looks amazing. And a lot of the YouTube videos that you see, they don't do a lot of really close-up B-roll. I want to educate you. I want to entertain, right? This could be funny to some of you. Let me know. I'm fine with that. This was the first car I've ever painted. I've used Plastidip before. Plastidip is very forgiving. You can touch up, you can do those type of things. I have some issues with this that I'm going to be asking for your advice. So if you're an expert, be gentle. I'm going to show you all of the things that are wrong with my Rustoleum paint job. This is really hard for me. I take pride in my work. From a distance, this looks really good. I'm gonna have the family come out and look at it. They haven't seen it since it was painted, but it was still kind of wet. Like, don't touch it kind of wet. Had orange peel all over it, and they were still like, that looks pretty good. Just wait until I get it all shined and polished and buffed up, and then you'll see. I'm gonna film their reaction when they come out to see it. They're going to be impressed. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. I'm gonna show up close all of the things that are wrong. Let's just do this. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how hard this is for me. This is therapeutic. Okay, first thing, I think that I didn't wait long enough between painting it. It's cold outside. I think it's maybe 50 degrees here in my garage. Outside right now it's 30 degrees. The high temperature is 34 degrees. It's been like that all week. I think I didn't wait long enough after painting to start messing with it. That's the first thing. Some of you guys are probably like, oh, classic mistake. I know what he's gonna show. It's super, super, super easy to burn through your paint with a buffer, and that's what I did. So I'm hoping that I can touch this up and stop it from becoming like cancerous and getting worse and worse. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, what we're looking at is the top of this little ridge. Everywhere I go, I just show the reflection of the light. But right across there is an issue. Another spot is right here. Oh, that one you can actually see. So the wheel on the buffer was spinning this direction and caught that edge and just kind of tore the paint up just a little bit. As far as the orange peel goes, if I hold still, you can still see it. There's still some like little divot holes, that sort of thing. I don't know what I could have done different to make some of these little divots disappear. Maybe I needed 3 coats of the primer filler to fill in. Here's another spot. I don't know what happened here. This was flawless before buffing, and then after buffing when I was wiping it down with the cloth, that showed up. I didn't dig in deep right there. It must have just been something from below that showed up. It almost looks like it's clear down to bare metal, and that's not gonna focus. If I can get it to focus on my fingers. Yeah, it looks like it's clear down to bare metal. When I was taking the tape off of this, I caught my fingernail in the paint. So this paint is still really soft, and that's what made me think, oh crap, I didn't wait long enough. Got a little bit more of the same kind of thing that we have over on that side. One other spot, right here. Same deal, just caught the edge of the buffer wheel and just burned through super fast. Zzz. So I think on these edges, I'm gonna be able to just take some touch-up paint and just touch that up. I kept some over there mixed up, ready to go. I'll add a couple drops of hardener to it and just start touching some of these things up. I think I'll put a dab on that as well and just kind of sand it and buff it out real quick. Same thing on these edges. I just don't want them to become cancerous. Like from back here, it looks amazing. I'm gonna bring out the family, record their reaction, see what they say. I have no idea. This is legit live. They have not seen this. Not super fond of that color though. I wanted that to be a lot more maroon. What are you, some kind of maroon? I want you to kind of feel this live, what I'm going through as I bring the family down. I'm not gonna point out any of the defects and just see if they notice them. I'm gonna act like the camera's not even turned on. Let me go get the family and see what happens. This part is also scary for me.
Oh, that's really red.
Yeah, it is red.
And orange.
And orange.
It's alright, it'll look like a red car when it's done.
Won't match the door jambs or anything like that. So inspect it, tell me what you think.
You don't want to hear, it just looks good.
This is hard for me to ask for an inspection.
You can see things. But we don't need to inspect it, it looks good. It's as good as... It's not quite new, but better than used.
There you go! Better than used, not quite new. That's how that goes.
Nobody in public looks at it that close. What's that?
That's something I gotta fix.
Yeah, you don't want us to look at it close.
I know, but I'm doing the same thing on my YouTube channel. The title of this video will be All the Things Wrong with My Rustoleum, my do-it-yourself Rustoleum paint job.
You can still see all the bubbles, or the chips, or whatever.
So look at this right here.
Ooh, that too. Oh.
Yeah, I'm really mad.
Why do you
and I did it right there.
The things that are bad?
Because I'm also gonna try to fix them. But yeah, I got some touch-up paint to do. So there you have it. They were pointing at the first blemish that they noticed was that middle of the hood chip. That's the first one they pointed out. The other thing that my wife was pointing out was orange peel, and my daughter was pointing to some of the ripples that you can see when I tried to sand down the clear coat that had flaked off. You can still see that if you're at just the right angle. Both of them are right. Nobody is going to inspect quite that closely like in the parking lot of Walmart, especially on a Toyota Corolla. I'm being super nitpicky. It's just me and the pride in my work. I can do better than this. I will do better than this, especially when we get to working on the old truck. But I'm gonna close out this video right here. This is my very first DIY Rustoleum paint job that I've ever done. I showed you all the flaws, all the things that I've done wrong, asking for some advice and some input from you guys. Leave your comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's all learn together. I'll post updates on this project as we get moving forward as well. I am going to be painting the entire car just so that it's all matching color. Right now it looks like the hood's been replaced. Be sure and ring that bell at the bottom so that you get notified of future videos. I've got a lot more projects coming, including more on this Corolla. I've got a 79 Ford truck that I'm restoring as well. We've named that Midnight Maroon, so hashtag Midnight Maroon. I'll leave a playlist in the description box below so that you can easily find that. It's a cool family heirloom that's been in our family for many years, many generations for that matter, and we're in the process of restoring that. Be sure and check that out, and we'll see you guys in the next video.